Hello everyone, and thank you for joining my Women, Wine, and Wealth webinar. We have a lot of stuff to go over today, so let's just jump right in. So let me give you some background on myself here as these slides change. Come on, okay. So who I am, I own the company DS Financial Strategies, which is a independent fiduciary financial planning firm. I'm also the TV host of Conquer Your Finances, Conquer Your Life, which can be seen every Friday at 11 a.m. and on www.rvntv.tv. And I've been in the business for over 12 years, and my mission is to empower my clients to live a happier, healthier, and wealthier lifestyle. So your future is now. It's critical that women know how to save, invest, and plan for their future. In the past, women may have taken a less active role in the financial decision-making for many reasons. So are you a woman who's unsure about your finances? Do you feel like you don't know enough about money and the way it works? Today, with more women than ever responsible for their financial well-being and the financial well-being of their families, it's critical that we as women know how to save, invest, and plan for our future. So ladies, a rich spouse does not equal a retirement plan. Because it's nice to have a spouse whose wealth allows us to have the freedom and not to worry about money. And even if you are blessed with that rich and attractive husband, there's no telling where that husband and that money might end up someday. So I always like my clients to rely on themselves. Many people believe that their financial well-being is linked solely to the ability to earn a high income. True financial independence, however, has much more to do with taking advantage of what you currently have already and understanding the core issues that motivate you in life and using the appropriate financial strategies that support those unique goals. But on the road to, I'm sorry here, I skipped one of the slides here. But on the road to the financial security, we as women often face unique challenges that our male counterparts don't. So what are some of the key differences? We have longer life expectancies. We generally earn less income and have less savings. We're more likely to take some breaks from our career so we can take care of family, either children or elderly parents. And we often invest too conservatively. So let's look at each of these challenges and their consequences in more detail. First challenge, women have longer life expectancies. According to the U.S. Census Bureau of Vital Statistics, women live an average of 4.9 years longer than men. Some might say this means that we're fortunate, but living a longer life expectancy has several financial consequences. Women are likely to spend more years in retirement and will need to stretch their retirement dollars further. And this is according to the Census Bureau as well. And women are more likely to end up in poverty, and 47% of women over age 50 are single. So women are more likely to need some type of long-term care as well because, again, we're living longer, and we might have to face these healthcare needs alone. Married women typically, they statistically outlive their husbands. Married baby boomer women can expect to outlive their husbands by 15 to 20 years on average, which this means that we'll probably have the sole responsibility for all the financial decisions and the final say on their disposition of our marital estate. The irony is that while women need their savings to last longer, they're typically confronted with other realities that make it harder to save and amass sufficient income in the later years, which brings us to challenge number 2. Which is women generally earn less than men. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, within most occupational categories, women who work full-time, year-round, they only earn 81% on average of what men earn. This wide gap can impact our overall savings, our Social Security benefits, and if we're lucky to have one, a pension. And the average female, here's a great statistic, which born between age 1948 and 1964, may have to remain in the workforce till age 74 due to not having enough savings or pension coverage. I don't really want my people to have to do that. It also means that we're more vulnerable to unexpected economic obstacles such as like a job loss, a divorce, single parenthood, illness, or the loss of a spouse. Approximately 7 out of 10 women will at some time live in poverty. Of the elderly that are living in poverty, 3 out of 4 are women. And 80% of these women were not poor when their husbands were alive. So we need to do more. So challenge number 3, like I mentioned, is women are more likely to take time out of the workforce so they can raise their kids and or their aging parents. Sometimes this is by choice, but moving in and out of the workforce can have major impacts for women. For one, you lose your income and the benefits like retirement and health insurance. Lost income often means we're saving less. Women spend an average of 12 years out of the working world, either for taking care of their kids or their parents. So that means there's 12 years less to pour money into our 401k plan, our 403b plan, or our IRA. So we also have the potential for a lower Social Security benefit. And this is because what you get from Social Security at retirement is based on the number of years you worked and the amount that you earned. So did you know that without Social Security, about 58% of widows aged 65 and older, they would live in poverty? This lifeline, so to speak, it's barely adequate. With inflation, other economic pressures, and mature women relying on Social Security may eventually have to choose between her food or medicine, or the rent or the car repair, and have other stressful money dilemmas. We don't want that. When these women were younger, they didn't envision this. They wish they had maybe understood money a little bit sooner. So that's why I'm here to help you do that. Also, economic vulnerability in the event that we get divorced or a spouse loses their job. In the first year after a divorce, a woman's standard of living drops by 73%. That's a lot. And possibly there's a more difficult time finding a job, often comparable in terms of pay and benefits when we re-enter that workforce. And even when women do attempt to stay in the workplace, they are more likely to request flexible schedules, and that can impact their salary and long-term career advancement. Which now challenge number 4. We as women tend to invest too conservatively to meet our financial objectives. Whether this is due to the fact that women aren't aware of other investment options or they're generally more risk averse, the result is investing too conservatively over a long period of time is we have that inadequate retirement nest egg. We lose money due to purchasing power due to inflation. And inflation basically refers to the increase in the price of goods and services over time. So let's take an example. In 1950, a gallon of milk cost 84 cents. In 1970, it was $1.35. In 1990, it doubled to $2.78. And today, it costs around $3.75 for a gallon of milk. And that's not even organic milk. That's just regular milk. So it's easy to see how your purchasing power can decline if your savings don't keep up with inflation. The bottom line is that if there's no risk at all in your portfolio, then there's no chance of reward. Our financial system is basically pretty much built on that whole risk-reward model. But keep in mind, however, that all investing, it does involve risk, includes the potential loss of our principal, and there can be no guarantee that any one strategy for investment is going to be successful. So before we go on, I just want to mention that there's no one-size-fits-all here. That is, that not all women will face all these challenges. Obviously, we're all in many different phases of life and have different characteristics, such as like we're either single, married, widowed, we're an employee, we own a small business, we're the breadwinner, we're a stay-at-home mom, an empty nester to retire. We know a lot about investing, we know little, and you get the point. It goes on and on. So that being said, though, statistically, a majority of women are likely to face at least some of these challenges I've noted above. So it's important for women to be aware of them as they move forward financially, regardless of whatever stage of life that we're in. Now, there are some things that we could do to take responsibility for our financial well-being. There's 6 things we could do. 1, take control of your money. 90% of all women will have the sole responsibility for their finances within their lifetime. Yet, 79% of women haven't even planned for this. 2, become a more knowledgeable investor. 3, plan for retirement. 4, protect your income and assets. And 5, create an estate plan. Now let's look at these areas in more detail. So number 1, take control of your money. Okay, so what does this mean exactly? First and foremost, it means that no matter what life stage you're in, realizing that you have responsibility for your financial well-being is key. This means you know what your cash flow is, what you have coming in every month, and what you have going out. Some people choose personal financial software to keep track of everything. Other people use pen and paper, or they use their Excel spreadsheets. Just use something. Next, it means establishing a positive cash flow. You do this by budgeting, managing debt wisely, and living within your means. Even in households where one spouse handles most of the bill-paying responsibilities or earns most of the income, the other spouse, they should be involved in the budgeting and know what outstanding debts are due and how quickly those debts are being paid off. Next, you want to create an emergency fund. Part of budgeting is establishing an emergency fund so that way you have money readily available to meet those unexpected expenses. Without a financial cushion, you may be forced to use those credit cards with high interest rates, and we don't want to have to do that. And speaking of credit cards, you'll want to establish and maintain good credit because your credit score is going to determine that the interest rate you receive when you borrow money. How do you maintain good credit? You pay your bills on time, you don't carry too many credit cards, and you could also go get your credit report each year for free or go onto an app like Credit Karma. That's what I use. Next, we want to set clear financial goals. And again, if you're married, this should be a team effort. Short-term goals may include making sure you have enough cash to fund off paying outstanding credit card debt. Long-term goals might be saving for a home, retirement, or saving for your kids' college. And once you've done all these things, you're ready to start saving and investing your money, which brings us to step number 2, become a more knowledgeable investor. Some of you guys here today, you may handle all the money all along for your family, while others may be new to the world of investing. So no matter what level of expertise, there's always room to learn more and adjust your plan to your current circumstances. The more knowledge you have, the more action you can take to define and pursue your financial goals and build your retirement savings. Because approximately 80 to 90% of all women, like I said before, you're going to end up being solely responsible for your own financial well-being at some point in your lives. So it's critical that you have a sound understanding of the investment world and the confidence to make the appropriate investment decisions. Now, determining the appropriate investment strategies, it's not an exact science, but there's some steps you could do to get started. So let's just take a minute, let's see if you're just starting out, you're a beginner. So 1, start by getting some basic information. Learn simple terms and investment concepts such as stock, bond, a mutual fund, what are the differences? Learn about asset allocation, diversification, dollar cost averaging, risk versus return dynamic. And take small steps and learn as you go. You don't have to learn everything at once. And don't postpone getting started. The longer you wait, the fewer options you may have. Finally, don't be afraid to ask questions. And if you're a more experienced investor, you want to make sure your portfolio is in line with your investment goals, your time horizon, and your risk tolerance. And look for ways to manage risk. The key here is to maximize your investment returns at a level of risk that you're comfortable with, not any advisor or anyone else. And understand what you own and what role each investment plays in your portfolio. And be on the lookout for investing ideas. Interestingly enough, women, we're often in a unique position to do this because we're usually in charge of buying the household goods that we need. So we already know what's happening in the marketplace and can observe the products and consumer behavior. Also, you want to consider the impact of taxes, fees, trading costs, and inflation. If you have amassed substantial assets, you also might benefit from getting tax planning help, estate planning, and learning more about asset protection. And you want to make ongoing adjustments as needed to reflect your current circumstances and have a game plan to avoid those knee-jerk reactions when the market's very volatile. You don't want to be jumping ship on certain investments just because it's what everyone else is doing. So becoming a more knowledgeable investor includes other things too. 1, it means we're being willing to admit our mistakes, deal with them, and move on. There's a saying, good investors know how to take profits, great investors know how to take losses. If an investment isn't working, sometimes it's just better to cut your losses than hang on and wait for that turnaround that may never come. Be risk averse, but in the right way. While investing conservatively can be a good strategy at times, for longer goals like our retirement, it can be a liability. If you're investing far too conservatively than is appropriate for your goals and your circumstances, you may find that you have less money than you hoped for. Make the most of the years you have ahead of you to grow your wealth. If you're married, like I said, make sure both spouses know the account numbers, the passwords, the online access information for all the investment and loan accounts. Sometimes one spouse assumes all the responsibility for the decisions, whether it's by choice or by habit, but it's important that both partners know how to access these accounts and be able to handle things if the first spouse is not able to do so. And know when to get professional help. Being a good investor doesn't mean you have to do everything yourself. A financial professional can help you create an appropriate investment strategy, select the specific investments, and make the adjustments as necessary for you, which brings us to the 3 different types of investment worlds. So depending on your stage in life, will depend on which one's right for you. Most people if not all, everyone has their banking relationship throughout their lives. Most people will have a fiduciary relationship as well. And when they transition into retirement, they may have a hybrid relationship for opportunities and for guarantees. And when working, you'll want to have the opportunity to have someone who could guide you through all these different worlds for you. So you can see here we have on the screen what comprises of each world. So now I'd like to move on to plan number 3. which is the plan for retirement. So this is such a crucial stage for women. But unfortunately, women, we tend to have lower retirement plan balances, Social Security, and pension benefits. So the one thing that we could do is start saving now. So if you see here this table, it shows if you invest $2,000, $5,000, or $10,000, and how it might grow over time, earning a 6% investment rate. So as you can see, the sweet spot is to start saving when you're in your 20s. The earlier, the better. But even if you wait to your 30s and 40s, that's not too bad either. Whatever your age, it's never too late to just start. The important lesson here is the earlier you save, the better. So in addition to saving early, it's important to get into the habit of saving as much as you can, no matter what. Even if you're staying at home to raise your family, you can and you should save for your retirement. Think of your retirement, saving for retirement as putting yourself first. Get rid of the excuses like, oh, I'm too busy to plan, my husband takes care of our finances, I'll save more once the kids are in college, or I don't know enough about investment and retirement savings. They really have to be your priority. So if your employer offers a retirement plan, such as like a 401k or a 403b, start contributing that. Having your contributions deducted right from your paycheck makes it easier to sock away money than just doing it on your own. It's done automatically. And usually employers match a portion of what you contribute. So I say just put up to what their match is. And if your employer doesn't offer a retirement plan, consider saving in an IRA, either a traditional Roth or a spousal IRA, so you can save for retirement and take advantage of the tax savings temporarily. Also, set a savings goal that you can work toward and keep track of that progress. Monitor your investments and make changes as you need, as we talked about. And this is where a financial professional can really help. And now I want to talk to you about another very important part of planning for retirement for us women, Social Security. Social Security is a major source of guaranteed lifetime income for most of us. Guaranteed means that once you start taking those monthly payments, you'll get that money every month for as long as you live. Now, every year, the trustees of the Social Security system publish a report on how well the program is doing, and they note that in its current form, Social Security is not going to be able to pay out all the benefits in the future that people expect. So does this mean that it's going to just disappear entirely? Probably not. But it does mean some changes at some point in the future to maintain the solvency. So that's going to happen. We don't know what changes they're going to be. That could be anyone's guess. But all we could do is plan based on what we know today. So let's look at Social Security in a bit more detail. For some women, Social Security makes up most, if not all, of their income that they're going to have in later years. And here's an interesting fact. Did you know that Social Security income represents 2/3 of income for women 65 and older? And as I mentioned earlier, without Social Security, an estimated 58% of widows aged 65 and older are going to live in poverty. And how did this all come about, Social Security? Well, in 1940, there was a legal secretary named Ida Mae Fuller. She got her first retirement Social Security check. And ever since then, women, they've been counting on that to give them their retirement income. Now, Social Security also provides disability and survivors benefits, but today we're just going to focus on the retirement benefits. So how do you qualify for retirement benefits? You have to work in a job that's covered by Social Security, and you have to earn at least 40 credits, which is probably about 10 years of work. If you haven't worked long enough to qualify on your own, you may be able to qualify for spousal benefits based on your husband's work record. And a spousal benefit is generally equal to 50% of the primary earner's benefit. Now, how much can you expect from Social Security? Well, the amount that you're going to receive is based on the number of years you worked and the amount you earned. Your benefit is calculated using a formula that takes into account your 35 highest earning years. So if you earn little or nothing in several of those years, it may be better to work a little bit longer so you could replace one of those lower years of income, which could potentially result in a higher retirement benefit. Now, you get an estimate of what your monthly retirement benefit will be every year once you start turning 60. Before that, you can go online and take a look at it. And the age at which you start claiming benefits is also going to affect the amount you receive. You can choose to take the benefits as early as 62, but if you do so, your benefit's going to be reduced by about 25 to 30% less than if you just wait to your full retirement age, which is about 66 or 67, depending on the year that you were born. Now, on the other hand, you'll get a higher monthly benefit if you delay claiming Social Security benefits until age 70. And if you do so, your monthly benefit will increase by 8% for each year that you delay taking benefits past your full retirement age. So this chart here shows what a hypothetical person may get by taking Social Security benefits at different ages. It's based on full retirement age of 66 and a benefit of $1,800 a month. So as you can see, If you start taking benefits at age 62, you'll get $13.50 a month. But if you wait to age 70, you'll get $23.76 a month, almost $1,000 more. And then remember, this monthly benefit is guaranteed every month for as long as you live. So an important question as you approach your 60s is, well, should I begin taking my benefits early at age 62 and receive smaller payments, but possibly receive them over a longer period of time? Or should I wait until full retirement age or later to start taking benefits and receive a possible larger benefit over a shorter period of time? So there's no right answer. It's basically an individual decision that's going to be based on many factors, such as other retirement sources of income that you have, your life expectancy, your marital status, whether you plan to continue after you continue working after you take your benefits, and your tax situation. So this is, again, where a financial professional can help you evaluate these different factors. And as a woman, we want to pay close attention to how much retirement income we'll have from Social Security. And finally, as you approach and then enter retirement, there's some other things you need to think about. 1, when will you retire? What retirement expenses will you have? Keep in mind you can live a rich lifestyle in retirement if your expenses and debts are very small. How do you plan to deal with a shortfall if your retirement, you don't have enough retirement money? Healthcare expenses. Many people often underestimate the amount they're going to need to spend on healthcare in retirement. Even though Medicare covers most Americans starting at age 65, it doesn't cover every healthcare need, which brings us to longevity issues. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, not only do women have longer life expectancies than men, but we also make up the majority of older Americans living in poverty, and women overwhelmingly outnumber the men in skilled nursing facilities after age 65. So many people mistakenly believe that Medicare is going to cover their long-term care needs. But the fact is, Medicare only covers skilled nursing care for a short period of time. It doesn't cover the ongoing custodial care. So you need to plan for longevity. And finally, you need to understand your retirement plan distribution options, the best order to tap your retirement accounts, and what a safe withdrawal rate is so you don't outlive your money. So as you can see, there's a lot to think about here. So now let's move on from retirement and talk about step number 4. Protect your income and your assets. Women often overlook the need to do this. So now, how do you protect your income and assets from risk? With insurance. Insurance transfers the risk from you and your family to the insurance company. So here's some different types of insurance you might want to consider. Life insurance. Life insurance provides funds for you and your loved ones when you die, and yet many people who should have life insurance, they don't. Whether you're single, married, employed, stay-at-home parent, you can benefit from life insurance. Think about it. If you should die prematurely, would you and your family be able to maintain, would they be able to maintain the same standard of living that they have now? Life insurance can provide proceeds that can be used to replace that lost income that you perform at your home. At the very least, it can pay for the funeral costs and any outstanding debt and tax obligations. Otherwise, that would be responsible to be paid by your family members. And it also plays a key role if you're a business owner. And there's also some retirement benefits, some living benefits from life insurance as well. And next, disability insurance. Disability protects your income if you're unable to work for an extended period of time. Becoming disabled is a far more greater risk than most people think. If you were to suffer disabling injuries tomorrow in a car accident, would you and your loved ones be able to survive without your income? A typical policy is going to replace 50 to 70% of your income. Obviously, you need a home and auto insurance. This is probably required by the state. And along with protecting your property from damage, both home and auto insurance covers you for liability claims from accidents and injuries caused by you. If you have significant assets, too, you want to consider a liability policy or an umbrella. This provides an extra layer of liability on top of your home and auto insurance. Health insurance, that's basically mandatory now, but even if it wasn't, health insurance is critical to safeguard your assets from the high cost of healthcare, both routine and unexpected costs. Long-term care insurance. As we age, our need for long-term care increases. Long-term care insurance pays a certain dollar amount per day for a set period of time for the type of long-term care coverage described in that particular policy. So depending on the benefits you select, the care can be provided in a variety of settings, such as your home, assisted living facilities, and nursing homes. And the best time to begin to purchase long-term care is when you're healthy enough to qualify for it. And finally, there are some instances alone where insurance is not going to cover everything. So you need to come up with other things, such as trusts, which if you have significant assets, a trust can be helpful to protect your assets from creditors, lawsuits, and other threats. Business entities. Many professionals, such as doctors, lawyers, accountants, they face liability for damages that result from them doing their work. So for added protection, forming a limited liability partnership or a professional corporation is often advisable. So the bottom line in all of this is that if you haven't developed and implemented an asset protection strategy for your wealth and your assets, you're vulnerable to the risks that are just part of everyday life. And last but not least, step number 5, create an estate plan. The words estate plan can sound intimidating, but an estate plan is simply just a map that reflects what you want to have for you, your personal and financial affairs in case you're incapacitated or you die. It allows others to control what happens to you and your property. So for example, do you want to leave a legacy for your children or grandchildren? Do you want to donate a portion of your estate to charity? Do you want to ensure that your friend gets your antique coffee table? Have you thought about the type of medical intervention you would want after an accident in the event that you couldn't even speak for yourself? By putting an estate plan in place now, while you still have the mental capacity to do so, not only will you have a say in what happens to you and your property, but you'll also make it easier for your loved ones to cope if something unexpected should happen to you, because your family members will know your wishes. Keep in mind, if you're married, your husband might not be there to know your wishes or act on your behalf. So what are some of the things that women can do to plan? Let's first look at incapacity. Incapacity means that you're unable to make your own decisions. It's probably obvious that the risk of incapacity increases with age. So here are some of the most common documents that could help you in the event you're unable to make your own decisions. A living will. So this is a document that lists the type of medical treatment you would want or not want under particular circumstances. A healthcare proxy, sometimes called a durable power of attorney for healthcare, lets one or more family members or other trusted individuals make medical decisions for you when you were unable to do so. A DNR, also known as a do not resuscitate order. This is a form signed by both you and the doctor that gives the hospital staff permission not to resuscitate you. Together, these 3 documents are sometimes referred to as the healthcare directives. A power of attorney. A durable power of attorney lets your family name members, lets you name your family members or other trusted individuals who can make financial decisions for you or transact business on your behalf. A living trust, also known as an inter vivos trust, is a document that allows you to manage your trust assets while you're alive and capable, but names a successor trustee to step in your shoes and take over the management of the trust assets if you become incapacitated. It can be especially useful in cases where you want to have privacy or there's complex assets involved. And all of these documents should be drafted by an attorney who specializes in estate planning. Now, planning for death. A topic no one likes to think about, but what should we consider having? A will. A will is typically the cornerstone of your estate plan. It's a legal document that directs how your property is to be distributed at your death. In it, you can name an executor who will carry out your wishes as specified in the will and a guardian for your minor children. Most wills have to be filed in the local probate court, and then they become a part of public record. A testamentary trust. A trust is created in your will called a testamentary trust. It's a legal arrangement that allows you to provide for various interests to different beneficiaries. For example, the trust might provide income for your children for life, with the remainder going to your grandchildren or to a charity. Unlike your will, a testamentary trust is not part of public record. An attorney should draft your will and trust. So what happens if you die without a will? Well, if you die without a will, your property will pass according to your state's laws called intestacy laws. Now, these can differ from state to state. However, whether you have a will or not, some property will pass automatically to another person. So, for example, let's say you own a property with what's called jointly with the rights of survivorship, for example, your house. This will pass directly to the other joint owner or owners. Even if you have a will, jointly owned property will still pass automatically, that is, outside of your will, to the other owner. Also, property that has a designated beneficiary, such as your 401k or life insurance, that passes directly to the named beneficiaries outside your will. So it's a good idea to review your beneficiary designations from time to time just to make sure they reflect your current wishes, because you don't want it to go to someone else and then that's the final say with those beneficiary forms. And finally, property held inside a trust will pass according to the terms set out by the trust and not through the will. So for women with significant assets, more advanced planning may be necessary, which includes tax planning, specifically for the income tax basis of your property, along with planning for any gift tax, estate tax, and generation skipping tax that may apply to transfers of your property. So, okay, I want to change subjects for a little bit now, and let's talk about unexpected obstacles. Unfortunately, life isn't always fair or easy, and things do happen. Employees are let go, Children come along before we're ready. For some, we're going to be helping out with our grandchildren. Couples get divorced. Illnesses spring up. Adult children need financial help. Our parents need help. Our spouse passes away. So when you take steps to strengthen your financial future, not only will you be in a better position to enjoy life in the good times, but you'll also be in a better position to cope during the not so good times, which many of us are likely to face at some point in our lives. In fact, it's often during these stressful times that many women turn to a financial professional for help. But you don't have to wait till it gets tough and you're in a tough situation. A financial professional can help during the good times too. We all know women who are busy working, caring for their families, and taking care of many of the household responsibilities. Often there's just not enough hours in a day to go grocery shopping, get a haircut, and how are you supposed to find time to research investments, buy a life insurance policy, or consider a living will? This is where a financial professional can help. And if you're unsure about hiring a person to help with your finances, think of it this way. You hire other people to do things like cut your hair, work on your car, tend to medical issues. So it might make sense to do the same thing when dealing with important financial matters. A financial professional that can help you see the big picture, create a financial plan based on your individual circumstances, and educate you on different investment options and help you choose the right strategies for your short and long-term needs. A financial professional can also monitor and adapt to your changing circumstances. They'll keep you up to date on the new legislation and tax laws and answer any questions you have. So of course, it's still important for women to educate themselves on financial topics and make the ultimate decisions to affect their financial health, but it's nice to know that there's someone you can turn to for the questions, for advice, and support if you need it. In the end, it's all about you. It's your goals, your dreams, and what matters most to you. So today is the day to start and raise a glass to your future. By taking the time now to plan for your financial future, you gain peace of mind knowing that you're doing all that you can to provide security for you and your family. And in our busy, full, exciting lives, I'm guessing we could all use a little bit of peace of mind. So here's some disclosure required by my compliance department. And now I'm excited to introduce you to this program. It's called Jumpstart Your Financial Health. And basically what it is, I'll help you prepare your monthly budget. I'll give you a program to track your net worth, show you how to save for retirement, learn how to take control of your finances and become debt-free. We'll create an emergency fund. We'll learn how to increase your income and or make the most of the money you do have. And we'll have 15-minute weekly accountability calls with me. I'll give you motivation to keep you on track and live the life you always dreamed of. And you'll learn how to communicate and learn more about yourself. And actually, the price is wrong there. It's only $98, a one-time fee. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that. Here's my contact information. And in closing, I also want to share with you as women something that's made a huge difference in my life. I started working with a nutrition coach a few months ago, and now I sleep better, I have less stress, I'm more focused, I'm able to get more done in less time. So that is amazing. I believe in my holistic approach, as like I said, empowering you to live a happier, healthier, and wealthier lifestyle. Nutrition is a huge component. And if you'd like, I can help get you started. I can introduce you to my coach or show you the program I'm using. And like I said, it'll totally transform your life. So again, I thank you for joining me today, and hopefully I will see you guys soon. Here's my contact information, so please reach out to me, and I'd love to work with you. Have a great day.